Lakini ni mtindo ambao tumekuwa tukiona ukifanyika kwa muda mrefu, sio ati speaker peke yake, mpaka kama CS tunaona kwamba pia wanajitosa katika ulingo wote wa kisiasa. Will this ever change, kwamba kila mtu ajue ofisi yake, madaraka yake na boundaries zake?
If we get serious people, ndugu yangu,
who are these serious people? Maana serikali iliyopita pia mtindo ulikuwa ni huo.
We keep recycling the same people. Ukiangalia serikali iliyopita, nani alikuwa deputy president?
William Samoei Ruto.
Ni rais, si ndio?
Ndio.
Nani alikuwa majority leader wakati huo before Murkomen atolewe wa Senate? Si alikuwa Murkomen mwenye alikuwa majority leader?
Ndio.
Si ako kwa serikali saa hii?
Ni recycling tu.
Recycling. Si Aden Duala alikuwa kwa hiyo serikali nyingine.
So katika haya yote ambayo yanafanyika, bwana Joakim, who's fit best to be president and to bring that change?
My party leader.
Why your party leader?
Jimmy Wanjigi is the only person that is talking about the agenda. Tunajiuliza hizi shida zote jameni, kama wa Kenya, chanzo ni gani? Na mbona kila wakati tukiweka rais anaongea vizuri akiwa huko nje, akiingia hapo ndani anafanya mambo yake? Kwani shida ni gani?
So swali ambalo Kenya anauliza, vile unavyosema, akiingia ndani analeta agenda yake. How sure are we that your party leader won't do the same?
Because there is no other presidential candidate who has ever wondered loudly kwamba mbona watu wakiingia wanabadilika na wakiwa nje wanaongea lugha tofauti.
Ndio.
Hakuna mwingine amewahi ongea hivyo. Even the topics we are raising are very sensitive to even the other people to speak. Kwa sababu tukisema kwamba deni ya nchi imekuwa kubwa, tunafaa tujiulize nani alikopa wapi na ikafanya nini. We are the only ones. Kwamba wewe kwa huu mshahara ambao unapata hapa, tuseme for example ni 50,000. Ukipata mshahara hivi, deni ni 40,000 ama 35.
Ndio.
Ukishalipa deni unapaki na 15. Ulipe fare, ulipe rent, ulipe ununue mavazi kidogo, shopping kwa nyumba, unapata kwamba hiyo hela haitoshi. Na ili usurvive unakopa tena. Ipo siku utakaa chini ujiulize, na hii pesa nimekuwa nikikopa, nimekuwa nikifanyia nini?
Yeah.
Na ujirudishe useme hapana, tunakosa. Saa hii ndugu yangu, hata ukiangalia kwenye rununu, ni rununu ama ni simu?
Ni rununu ndo simu. Runinga television.
Ukiangalia utapata how much % of our tax revenue is going to servicing debt.
Yeah.
Utapata it's up 60+%. Kama wewe unapata hiyo pesa ambayo unapata na 60% of what you get, it goes to a bottomless pit of paying debt, then how can you even run the programs of government? That's why we are stuck.
Yeah.
That's why President anaongelea, anasema infrastructure fund.
Yeah.
Infrastructure fund inamaanisha nini? Another tax is coming or levy on your income again. So which is double taxation. Yeah. You already have a housing levy on your income, and now the infrastructure fund is coming on your income. So the rate on your payslip is constant. They are still coming back for more. Na tukiwaruhusu wachukue, watakaa chini tena wakuje na idea ingine, tena warudie hiyo hiyo.
So now, let's assume that Safina Party takes over the leadership of this country, okay? And you've been asking this question, we've been paying every year. What would you do different?
The first thing is suspend paying of all debt. It is a painful surgical process, but it will have to happen.
So default.
Basically.
And people ask that what will happen now that you don't pay? The lenders will come knocking. And then we say that because we borrow debts as sovereigns, it's in our name that money is given to come. So who is our representative? It's Parliament. So if you come to us as a lender, and you're saying we owe you this amount of money, then we need to check the vote heads in Parliament if it was approved to be borrowed. If we can find it in the vote heads of Parliament, there is no approval, then it means we the people do not bear the burden of paying.
So who does?
The person who came to take the money.
That's the sovereign, like you said.
Who
it's the people of Kenya who took the debt.
Who is is the person who went there claiming that I am doing this in the name of the Kenyan people. The lenders know the people, the government officials who went there. So if it's the president and his regime, he takes responsibility. He's the one to be asked. When you were Minister for Finance and you were president, we took this amount of money for this particular project. What has happened? If we can't find answers, we will recover what you have in terms of assets. You know, the reason why so many people are so uncomfortable of discussing this is because they know what will happen if we don't pay. The hard questions. The first Eurobond, half of it is not accounted for. There were people in office at that time. They still exist today. They wouldn't want us to even have this discussion. Even if they are watching right now, they are very uncomfortable watching this kind of discussion because they know the truth that the money we owe as the country, most of it, it's not the burden of the people to pay. So first of all, we stop paying. Then do an audit. The ones that we are legal, we have no problem paying. But the ones that are not, then the people who took it bear the burden of paying. If they have to go to prison, if we have to auction them, so be it. But the people should not be carrying the burden that is not of their making.
But
I'm not mad at that.
I have a few questions.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at the idea, but I just know realistically, come on, let's be for real. We don't take loans as individuals. We've already, ascertained that. There is no deal signed between Mariam and some World Bank, IMF, Nana Bank, African Development Bank. It's the nation is liable. So then to shift that to and even when it is not, if it was not approved by Parliament, even if it does hold signatures from either Parliament, the executive, those are still institutions. They are not people that you can hold personally liable for those debts.
Let's say we have had instances where ministers are sent home for misappropriating funds in their ministries. At what time did it become now individually to that minister, not the institution? Because institutions are people. That even this organization, whenever there is something that needs explanation, we can't ask the organization. We go particularly who was in charge.
True, but you can never come to Mariam asking her to pay a debt of Nation Media Group.
What is the stipulated rules of borrowing? And who bears the responsibility of following those rules? And in case they are broken, who bears the responsibility of explaining? Is it us or the person who is in office at that time?
They do bear, so you can, of course, look into it, audit. If there's discrepancies, if there's illegalities, those can be prosecuted. The law, can be followed. But to find personal liability for people for debts taken by a sovereign nation, that's a stretch.
Yes.
I wish it wasn't, but it's a stretch.
It's a stretch that needs to be taken.
We need to stretch.
You can
Yes.
stretch.
But yes,
I think maybe it's just the practicality of it. Maybe the approach and the process. Saying stop paying first as we audit, maybe where an issue would be. Say start the audit, okay, and then get to the point when finish the audit as fast as possible, and then go back into, all right, so this particular debt, it is Janet bears sole responsibility, did not follow due process, and so on and so forth. And so let's have this conversation about this particular debt. This other one, Joachim, followed due process, and we can see the proceeds and where the proceeds went. Let's continue paying. But saying ati usilipe mamanjoro kwa duka because umekunywa turungi. You see, that's not, you have to start the conversation at home.
Okay.
Tuko na deni ya pesa ngapi kwa mamanjoro? Okay. Hiyo pesa tulitumia kufanya nini? Okay. And so on and so forth. As you wait for the answers to come, you've got to continue.
So you have a conversation when we are still borrowing. So Mamanjoro is
Paying,
still lending to us.
not borrowing.
Yes.
You're paying.
How do you make sure that the lenders do not continue lending to us? They need to be very sure that these things, because
you make sure that the people who are in office are not borrowing anymore.
Yes.
Remember, this is in the case of a Safina administration,
yes.
right? Yes, then the administration just stops borrowing.
Yes, Safina government will not borrow, will not pay. That's our first agenda. However painful it is, we are not paying.
My dear Kenyans, we are at a turning point in our history. And I call upon you all to participate with I and we in Safina in taking Kenya through the next phase of our liberation, called economic liberation. I plead with you to seize this moment, to look at every single leader that comes before you attempting to take your vote, to articulate to you the issues of your life, the issues of the day in Kenya. This is a moment for you to change history. It is our moment as a country. It was started by Genz, and we must complete this journey of liberating Kenya from the shackles of what was created in 1920 by the colonialist. You must arm yourself with that voter's card. You must participate in an election that answers your question when you X the box. It must be you you're voting for, not Jimmy, not whoever else. It is you yourself you're voting for. Your question must be answered when you're Xing that box. And that question can only be the next phase of our liberation, which is the economic. Join us in that liberation.
Ground inasema aje? Ground inasema aje?